Hey everyone, in today's vlog, I want to talk about how your feelings, how you feel, actually create your thought forms, which then create your personality and your intent and how you act towards other people. And the reason I want to bring this up is because so many of us are reactive and we feel like this reaction is ours. This reaction and our feelings of either fear, anger, whatever it may be, is owned by us. But I kind of want to give you a different perspective on maybe it's not owned by you. Maybe it's your reactions are owned by what's called the lizard mind. It's the subconscious, the lower, it's below your consciousness. Maybe that your habits and your experiences and what you've gone through in the past have created this ongoing scenario. So this like in your lower brain, there's this go-to place that you go to for fear, this go-to place for anger, go-to place for grief, go-to place for shame, for guilt. Maybe your reactions are always the same and it's not really you, but it's controlled by the archetype for this is the moon. So I just want to show you something really quick here because I want you to visualize this, okay? So these are messy, they're just my notes, but let me show you. So imagine your feelings here. So your feelings are directly related to your mental thought forms, okay? And these two things, your feelings and which create your mental thought forms, create then your foundation. They create your intent and your personality. So do you see how this square goes? Now, I mean, we don't want to be old thought. We don't want to, and that's robotic. That's why a lot of people will describe others as robots. We do the same thing every single day. And I mean, to be honest with you, most people, especially and I don't mean all governments, but most power, authority, corporations, people, politics, policies, all these arenas usually need that lizard brain and prefer that lizard brain and what we've been taught in school, even elementary school, that we function at that level, that we only use that level of the brain. And we don't come to our higher mind where our consciousness can step aside, like we consciously observe something, and we can step outside of the lizard brain. You actually, the feeling you get when you do this, let me just, if this is resonating with you, let me give you an exercise. If it makes sense to you, if you're in your spiritual journey where you've realized, shit, my feelings are creating my mental thought forms and I am the minion to my feelings. So how can I depolarize? Because it's the law of polarity. So this part of your brain, the subconscious brain, the feelings that are going to come right away when you're in a situation of guilt, shame, anger, fear, you're going to have your body, your mind's going to create a feeling. You won't even know how it happened. Your body's going to react. And right away, you are going to have these mental thought forms. So I want you to think about that for a second. If these mental thought forms are created from a feeling, and that feeling is from I don't know, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, but it's just so packed into your subconscious mind, where's the real you? Where's the change? How do you even create change if you're always reacting? So I'm going to give you a tool if you're interested. And one thing that you can do, I talk about this in a lot of vlogs, but until you experience it and you do it, you won't understand the significance of it. So what I started doing in my journey was I began to first understanding what I was reacting to. So the first step was, okay, that was a trigger for me. I'm feeling, and you know what? In the beginning, you're not going to know how you feel. It's going to be difficult to, understand, am I feeling angry? Or am I hurt? Wait, is this grief? Is this shame? Am I feeling guilty? What is it? And the reason your ego wants to cloud all that is because the evil is the ego is evil. Let's just say it's not really, but I'm just going to use the word evil, and it wants to keep its claws in you. So it wants to confuse the feelings, and it doesn't actually want you to go in there and say, shit, this is fear, and this fear is because this just happened, and I think I'm reacting to it this way because of my past this long ago. First, when you first start doing this, and what you're doing right there is inquiry. You are beginning to inquire about your own feelings and your reactions, and the ego hates that because it's threatened by that, because it's bringing you closer to spirit. What you're doing is, if your polarity, once you catch the feeling, so let's say you're polarized to fear, to jump onto the pendulum goes right to the left side, like 90 degrees to the left side. Okay, so when you begin to evolve and you begin to separate yourself from this pendulum, from this fear, by saying, hold on, that was a trigger. Yes, this feeling I have right now, I'm not scared, but my body's reacting like I'm scared. But really, it's in this present moment, this fear that I have and this reaction of being super scared, fight or flight, which is unnecessary, is programmed in me. I have nothing at this moment to be scared. So now, if you talk to yourself like that, inquire the feeling, this pendulum, you've brought it back to the middle. That's how quick it happens. Your pendulum, which maybe was at 80-90% to the left, you've brought it back to the middle. And as you keep recognizing and not reacting to lower vibrational feelings, you're releasing their polarity and you're bringing the pendulum back to the middle. Eventually, what's going to happen, and this experience, it's happened to me, eventually what's going to happen is you're going to do this enough times where if something like that creates fear within you, you're going to recognize it, and instead of inquiring, you don't have to go through the inquiry process as much. And what you're going to do is you're going to be like, oh no, that's not, I'm not going to react because of this feeling that this situation is creating. It doesn't warrant for a reaction. I'm just going to observe the feeling and I'm going to let it go. Once you get to that scenario, then your pendulum starts swinging more to the right side. And the right side is the positive side. The right side is the future. The right side is ease. The right side is your highest good. The right side is when you begin to work with your spiritual, mental, and your body, your physical self. That's what the right side of the pendulum represents. So I hope I gave you a little bit of, I hope I gave you a little bit of like understanding how feelings and polarity are so important, because they create mental thought forms which create a reaction, and this is our personality, our intention. This is how we end up living all of our lives. But it takes that knowing and to know to question the feeling. You're allowed to do that. And then to change that feeling's polarity over time once you've inquired enough and it comes naturally, and just realize that when you're not reacting, that thought form can't be created, and you're taking the polarity of negative thought forms of the left side and you're bringing it onto the right side. I love you guys. Bye.